11 Houston, the definition is pretty good on our monitor here. The color's not too varsity, at least on this set. Could you describe what you're looking at, over?
Roger, you're seeing Earth as we see it at our left-hand window. It's a little more than a half Earth. We're looking at the eastern Pacific Ocean. In the north half of the top half of the screen, we can see North America, Alaska, United States, Canada, Mexico, and Central America. South America becomes invisible just off beyond the terminator or inside the shadow. You can see the oceans with a definite blue cast. See white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth, and you can see coastlines pick out the western U.S., San Joaquin Valley, the Sierra Mountain Range, the peninsula of Baja California, and you can see some cloud formations over southeastern U.S. There's one definite mild storm southwest of Alaska. Looks like about 500 to 1,000 miles. And another very minor storm showing the south end of the screen near the, a long way south of the equator, probably 45 degrees or more south latitude. Pick out the browns in the landforms pretty well. The greens do not show up very well. Some green showing along the northwestern coast of the United States and northwestern coast of Canada.
Hey, world, hold on to your hat. I'm going to turn you upside down. 11, that's a pretty good roll there. That's pretty sloppy, Charlie. Let me try that one again. You'll never beat out the Thunderbird. I'm making myself seasick, Charlie. I'll just put you back right side up where you belong. Roger. 11, Houston, if you could comply, we'd like to see some smiling faces up there. If you could give us some interior views, I'm sure everybody'd like to see you, over.
Okay, we'll reconfigure the TV for that.
Roger. That's Big Mike Collins there. Well, you got a little bit of... Yeah, hello there, sports fans. You got a little bit of me, plus Neil's in the center couch, and Buzz is doing the camera work this time. Roger. Well, I put on a coat and tie if I'd known about this ahead of time. Is Buzz holding your cue cards for you, over? Cue cards have a no. We have no intention of competing with the professionals, believe me. We are very comfortable up here, though. We do have a happy home. There's plenty of room for the three of us, and I think we're all learning to find our favorite little corners to sit in.
What is going on, everybody? Let me turn the tune down a little bit. It is 7:25 p.m. here in good old Florida, and I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for probably about an hour. As I was reading the chat, it's kind of funny. I quickly realized that I don't really know the names of a lot of songs. You know, I mean, obviously Force Theme, and you got your Throne Room, Imperial March, Duel of the Fates. It's hilarious to me. Why did I even make this stream? Because damn, I legitimately don't know the name of a lot of songs. That's crazy. I was just reading through and I was like, I've heard of this, but I can't think of what music goes with the title. Interesting. So welcome, guys. Let's hum a little Star Wars tonight. Welcome, one and all. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. This is the first stream of this week, and I will be hanging out with you guys, like I said, for about an hour. So Vince Wynn, Mimi, Took17, and Bumblebee DT, thank you guys so much for coming in with the first super chats of the stream. I appreciate the hell out of that, guys. For me, one of my favorite themes ever is the throne room scene. At the end of A New Hope, it's just super triumphant, and I've always loved it. My favorite theme of this new generation is Rey's theme, hands down. But there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of themes that I love that I don't know the name of. And I'm sure I'm gonna hum some throughout the entire stream, and you guys will name them like that, because yeah, I'm sure you guys got better memories than me, right? But welcome, one and all. Mustafari and Jizz. There you go, Josh. All right, cool. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for coming in with the first super chat and channel support, man. Vince says, who loves Mondays? Mondays aren't too bad, right? Get back into the routine. You're working for the weekend. Looking forward to the weekend, right? Mondays aren't too bad. It's the restart of the cycle, right? But it's not, the days aren't too the only things different about me, particularly in the weekends, the weekdays and the weekends for me, is my wife being home, not working during the day, because I work from home, I do freelance, and I do YouTube stuff, right? So, and I take care of my daughter. That's really the only difference for me, because I work on the weekends too, but sometimes I don't work during the week. Pick my own shit. But yeah. What's the what's that song called? Somebody let me know what that song's called. That's not, what is that song called? Whatever it's called, that's one of my favorite themes. Just frantic, fast-paced, fun. Love it. Is that what it's called? TIE Fighter Attack? Bingo. Love it. Yep. Here they come. TIE Fighter Attack? Okay. Incoming. Hell yes. I'm going to listen to that right after the stream. I wish I could play all this music on a stream, because wouldn't that make a music... Why did I do this stream? We can't play music. I don't know the names of titles. It's hilarious, man. Anyway, Vince, I appreciate that. And Mimi, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Rey's theme or Yoda's theme when burning the tree. That's absolutely beautiful. Dude, I tweeted out a couple hours ago, Mimi, that I will never forget my first time hearing Rey's theme in the theater. I saw the special edition re-releases in the theater in the 90s. I saw all the prequels in the theater as well. And obviously all the modern Star Wars movies in the theater. And my favorite music moment, my favorite Star Wars music moment in any theater experience I've had was hearing Rey's theme for the first time. Rey's theme that is so melodic. Oh, one sec.
Star Wars music you really like but don't see people appreciate as much? For me, it's the one during the Roach lightsaber fight when Luke starts wailing on Vader with pure rage.
Sashimaru Dunno, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. Interesting question. Interesting question. Give me one sec. Give me one sec, though. So, yeah, Mimi, Ray's theme. Man, like, it's so melodic and just beautiful and adventurous, and it has a cadence to it, and it's there's innocence there, you know. So it's one of my favorite themes in all of Star Wars, and like I said, the first time that I heard that, it was such a, because sometimes, you know, especially with like the Rise of Skywalker, there were you don't have like, I don't know, I didn't have the punch. Maybe it's because some of the themes weren't necessarily new and we've heard them before, but dude, the first time that I heard that in Force Awakens, as she's, you know, sliding down the sand and loading up her speeder and then hauling off, and it was just a great theme. So great. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Mimi. And Duke17, thank you so much for the channel support as well this evening, man. I have a quartet. It's easy to do with all these songs, right? Who can pick a favorite? I have a quartet: Imperial March, March of the Resistance, Binary Sunset, and Ray's theme. All great. Imperial March is, it's just the most like, I don't know. Well, March is the best way to define it, right? It is just left, 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 your right, left, your right, left, 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 your right, left, your right, right? It's a military cadence. It is, if you were to march to it, it would be a very easy song to march to. It's, in a way, it's kind of like Jaws' theme, you know? Da 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 da. But yeah, I love it. March of the Resistance too. Extremely just kind of like invigorating. I remember hearing that for the first time in the theater as well for The Force Awakens, and just, you know, new Star Wars themes. The first time you hear them, it's completely mind-blowing, you know. The first time we saw the prequels and you heard the music going into the theater in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Same kind of deal, you know. Brand new pieces of music, never heard before. It's pretty mind-blowing. But and of course, Binary Sunset, of course, it's just the one that, you know, that's one of my favorite scenes of all time too. And the scene would definitely not be as powerful without John Williams' music, right? It's so, I don't know, lofty and just kind of like, I don't know. It just sets the mood perfectly for that scene, right? But yeah. Anyway, Tuke, I appreciate that, man. I hope everything's going well for you. Oh, man. All right. You guys know me. I had to make, I'm drinking 4 cups of coffee. Whenever I sit down to do a stream, I always brew 4 cups of coffee, and I put it in my giant Bob's Burgers mug. It's a, I'll take a picture of it. How about that? All right. Giant Bob's Burgers mug. Oh, that's not a good picture. I need to get it to where you can see the character. There you go. Giant Bob's Burgers mug. Let's see. I'm going to tweet this out. Not that anybody gives a shit, but I'm assuming some of you guys will check it out. Go to my Twitter, and I'm going to post this directly below my live announcement. And you can check out the picture there from the stream. Cool. From the stream. There we go. Boom, posted. 4 cups of coffee. Always and always. All right, guys. Let's get to it. But I appreciate that, Tuke. Bumblebee, Fitzpatrick, Vince Wynn, Stormy Bricks, Overlorded Sith, Seshi Maru Dunno, Stranded J, Caleb Kemp, Spaceman. Like Spaceman? Josh Frisch, Vince Wynn, Douglas Powers, Caleb Kemp, Killian Hannon, Overlorded Sith once again. Guys, I appreciate the hell out of that channel support this evening. I'm super long-winded. So sit back and hang out. I will get to the super chats and answer them thoroughly as I always do. And I appreciate the patience as always. But Bumblebee DT says, Duel of the Fates, the Force theme, Twin Suns. Of course, Binary Suns, of course, Twin Suns, of course, Force theme, of course. Duel of the Fates was such a... I remember hearing Duel of the Fates for the first time. I remember hearing Duel of the Fates for the first time, and it being such a different type of Star Wars song, right? There were vocals in it, and it was so epic and differently epic, right? That's, dude, Bumblebee, like my dad back in the day when I was a kid, like in elementary school, 1999 I was 13, so when is that? I was like 12, 13, so I was in middle school. And my dad showed me how to use the family's like big shoulder-mounted camcorder, right? And I had the Phantom Menace soundtrack. And I would take the camcorder and do stop-motion animation with all of my action figures and my Army Men and the Jurassic Park figures and the Ghostbusters firehouse and all that stuff. I would do stop-motion animation. And I would always take the Phantom Menace soundtrack, and after the fact, after I shot all the footage, and trust me, it was not good. It was majorly shitty. But I would take it and then plug my camcorder into like my stereo, and I was able to record audio over the VHS tape that I just recorded. So I layered on like Duel of the Fates constantly to all of these little stupid home movie stop motion animation things that I used to make. So, yeah, fond memories of that song for sure. Not only the song, but the entire soundtrack. That's the only Star Wars soundtrack that I think I've purchased, you know? I think. At least physically, you know? But anyway, I appreciate that, Bumblebee. And 11 Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I see you responded to the old tweet there. Cool. Nice, there we go. Fitzpatrick, thank you so much once again, man. Between Rich Evans' theme or the theme of Saklasa. They're so good together, right? The theme of Rich Evans and Mike Saklasa, it works. They're fantastic apart. Great, right? They're great apart. But when you merge those themes together, it's just so beautiful. So perfectly beautiful. And it really shows in their Picard review that they uploaded today, or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. Fantastic. But Fitzpatrick, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I was gearing up to make a Picard review, and I'll eventually get to it, but I'll probably end up doing it after this second episode. I'm going to stick with it. I didn't really care for it that much, but I found that I agreed with a lot of the things they said. As you know, I went into it kind of clear-headed, not expecting it to be like TNG whatsoever, not to be as adventurous as TNG or thoughtful as TNG, but I found it to be incredibly generic. But anyway, I appreciate that, Fitz. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much as well. The Pit of Carcoon. Check it out. It's amazing. Is that the name of the song? The Pit of Carcoon. So, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't know that. See, that's the thing. The thing that I mentioned at the very tip top of the stream. I know all these songs. I just don't know the name of a lot of these songs. I didn't know that was named that. Interesting. I'm going to play it real quick. I'm muting my audio. Let's see. That little jingle right there. It's just, oh man. You throw that, I mean, that little jingle has been used in a lot of themes and a lot of scenes, right? But is there not a more just, I don't know, adventurous Star Wars tune out there, you know? It's like the TIE Fighter attack that I mentioned earlier, right? Same kind of cadence, same kind of beat. It's just when ships are banking in, when our heroes are fighting. Can't get enough. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up playing a lot of Star Wars themes on Alexa tomorrow. Alexa, play Star Wars themes. Oh no, that was Vince. I apologize, guys. That was Stormy Bricks. I apologize, man. I skipped over Vince. Yeah, Stormy Bricks. Absolutely. Hell yeah. It is funny to me. I don't know the names of a lot of these things. But yeah. Gotta love it. There's not a bad song in the bunch. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much as well, man. I love the theme from the Bounty Hunter game. I've never played that. Yeah, I've never played Bounty Hunter. You've probably heard me say this before, but when that game came out, I did not own a GameCube. I didn't own any console, I don't believe, other than like my Nintendo 64 when the Bounty Hunter game came out. I was primarily a PC gamer back then. Let's see, when did that game come out? Bounty Hunter game. 2002. So, okay, it was out for GameCube, PS2. Okay, GameCube and PS2. I never owned either. In 2002, I owned a Nintendo 64 and a Dreamcast. Those are my consoles. And those are my two consoles until like 2009 maybe. Maybe 2010 is when I got my next console. From my Dreamcast all the way until 2009 or 2010, all I did was play PC games. I take that back. I did own an Xbox 360. I never really played it, though. I bought it and I played like GTA 3, I think it was. I think that's what it was. GTA 3 or 4? Was 4 the most recent one? I don't know. Whichever one came out for the 360. I bought it, I played a little bit, and then my Xbox just kind of sat there and became like a DVD player, right? But anyway, I appreciate that, Vince. If that game comes out on the PC ever, I'm assuming there's some kind of emulators and whatnot. So many people have recommended it to me that I would kind of have to play it, right? But yeah. And Overlorded Sith, thank you so much as well for the channel support this evening, man. Overlorded says, my favorite song is Clash of Lightsabers. Clash of Lightsabers. Once again, I am not good with, oops. Oh, I didn't realize that I still had my desktop audio turned off. You guys could not hear my music. Let's see. I love the strings in the background of this. Just chaotic strings back and forth as the Imperial March is playing. It's yeah, something like that is so complex, right? There's a lot going on, and then the strings silence, and it just, oh man, yep, you can hear this, you can hear Cloud City in there, you can hear the confrontation. Do, 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 do. Do, do. Ah, dude, Overlorded. This is. Oh, you know what? I haven't told you guys. I'm actually going Overlorded Sith. You'll love this, man. I'm actually going to see Empire Strikes Back with a symphony in about in like 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah, in like 2 weeks, I'm gonna be seeing the Jacksonville Symphony play The Empire Strikes Back while the movie is showing. I can't wait. I mean, it's gonna. I've seen 2 movies like that. I've seen Home Alone with a symphony, which is surprisingly awesome. I mean, John Williams. And I've also seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, equally awesome, right? I've seen those 2 with the symphony. Now, my father-in-law actually got me these tickets for Christmas. We're all gonna go and see The Empire Strikes Back with the symphony sometime in February. So Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Anyway, I appreciate that, Sith. And Sashi Maru, don't know. Thank you so much as well for the channel support this evening, man. Is there a piece of Star Wars music you really like, but don't see people appreciate as much? For me, it's the one during the Return of the Jedi lightsaber fight when Luke starts wailing on Vader with pure rage. I don't know the name of that one. I can hear it, but yes. So my answer is this, Seshi. My answer is I don't know the name of the song. It's called like, it's not Jedi Rocks. It's whatever song was replaced by Jedi Rocks. Original Return. What is it called? Kind of has like a punk vibe to it. What is it called? What is it called? What is that song called? I can't remember. Lefty Neck. Yep, Lefty Neck. Thank you, Caleb. Yep, perfect. That song, it might be a goofy answer. I thought that song was short and sweet, fit the moment, it fit the background noise. It just, it just, I don't know why, but I've always really, really enjoyed it. And then obviously Jedi Rocks came along, and it's just, to me, it's just over the top. It is just kind of a cartoon. I don't know. It's never been something that I've ever enjoyed. But Lefty Neck, man, it just kind of like I love it. I was gonna joke about him saying Lefty Neck, and then he actually did it. The hell, nice. You know me too well, man. Yeah, Lefty Neck is fantastic. I remember seeing the special editions in the theater, and subsequently, at home releases. And whenever, there obviously there's two pieces of music that were removed, Lefty Neck. And when I was watching the special editions, I was like, I remember having these thoughts like, what? Did I miss it? Was it a smaller part than I originally thought? And then I realized it was no longer there. And also Yub Nub, right? Classical Yub Nub. I remember the first time I ever watched the special editions and Yub Nub was removed. I remember it because I remember having this feeling, like a constant feeling of like, oh, it's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Oh, maybe it's a little later than I thought it was. Oh my God, it's the credits. Where the hell was Yub Nub? So, yeah, that's, a lot of meh feelings about all that kind of crap. But anyway, Lefty Neck. There you go. A song that's going to be lost in history and only observed by those who remember Lefty Neck. But I appreciate that, Seshi. And Stranded J, thank you so much for the channel support. Stranded J says, hey, Greedo, good to see ya. Oh, one sec.
/Padam Sandkiss is perfect. The music really increases intensity to match the passion, and then as Padme pulls away, the music fades almost as if it never happened.
Huh, interesting.
Genius.
Stud Bagel, thank you so much for the channel support, man, this evening. On that note, let me find your song. We'll play that tune in the background. I don't know how easy. Do I need to turn the music up at all? Or let me see. Anyway, Stud Bagel, thanks, man. Give me 1 sec. Probably a lot longer than 1 sec. Let me run down the list. Stranded J, Caleb Kemp, Spess, Joe, Vince, Douglas, Caleb Kemp, Killian, Overlorded Sith, Carter Lovejoy, Vince Wynn, Star Wave, Simpygar, Jared, Dion, Caleb, Carter, Caleb, Shano, Caleb, Stud Bagel. All right, guys. I'm super long-winded. I apologize, but I appreciate the patience. All right. Stranded J says, hey, Greedo, good to see you. Good to see you too, man. I appreciate the channel support this evening. Yeah, I don't. Things have changed for me. I don't know if you know. Bought a new house, sold an old house, moved in with my folks, built a new house, moved into a new house in the past 8 months or so. We moved into our new house about a month ago. And a video that I'm actually gearing up to put out either tomorrow or probably Wednesday actually shows a lot of the house. Just by chance of me making this stupid video, you'll see a lot of the house. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. I hope you're doing well. And Caleb Kemp, thank you for the channel support as well, man. I like the more subdued themes, Binary, Sunset, Across the Stars, and Ray's theme. And I have a soft spot for Ray's theme. I think the theme alone made her my favorite character of the new trilogy. Yeah, it's one of my favorite themes in the entire saga. As I said at the beginning of the stream, in a tweet that I put out earlier today that you no doubt saw, I'll never forget the feeling that I had when I first heard that theme in the theater, you know. But yeah, fantastic. The sense of adventure, the sense of the coming journey. There's a little hint of innocence in there too. It's fantastic. But no, I'm with you. The more subdued, as you put it, and more kind of melodic themes are very. I mean, John Williams knows how to set the tone, right? And when it's soft, it's just, I don't know, it sets up the scene. I've always said that if John Williams and Star Wars music wasn't and isn't what it is or was now, we'll see how it goes in the future, but I don't think it would be as impactful, right? But imagine Star Wars with, like, I don't know, your kind of like synthy 60s, 70s sci-fi vibes. It wouldn't work. But yeah. But I appreciate that, Caleb. And Spaceman. I appreciate that channel support this evening. Clone March from episode 3 is the best. I can't hear it in my brain. Let's see. I'm going to listen to it without my desktop audio. Is this it? Let's see. Cool advertisement. All right. Oh, yeah, this is it. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, once again, I mean, it's very reminiscent of your cadence of the Imperial March, right? It's very, I can't talk and listen to it at the same time. Yeah, it's a song that you would expect to hear like pumped through the speaker system at some kind of like national rally, right? Yeah, it's yeah, I'm listening to it. Fantastic. I mean, the scope, Spaceman, of what Star Wars music. I mean, you go from something like that is very marchy and very, I don't know, very militant, very left, right, left, to something soft and melodic like Ray's theme, right? The difference in I guess tone of everything that John Williams has made for the saga is kind of mind-blowing, you know, and it all fits in this world. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Josh Frisch, thank you so much as well. I love that theme at the end of The Phantom Menace is a variation, much faster and different key, of the Emperor's Throne Room theme from Return of the Jedi. Oh, a song at the end of The Phantom Menace. Definitely not Augie's Great Municipal Band. Oh, that is what you're talking about. Is that what you're talking about? Where Boss Nass is holding up the thing? Oh, yeah. Is this what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about? if that's what you're talking about, that's really interesting. I've never... A variation much faster and different key of the Emperor's Throne Room is that what you're talking about? If that's the case, I've never put 2 and 2 together. I've never heard anybody bring that up. Interesting. If that's what you're talking about. That's a really fun song. That's like a very like high school band song, right? A very like high school band celebratory song. We did it, you know? Yeah, I can picture that entire ending sequence in my brain. But, yeah, that's a fun one for sure. Very, very, da, 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 da. Interesting. Oh, you can hear it? You could hear it in my headphones? Well, this thing, my speaker, my microphone, my headphone, my speaker, my microphone. That's the word. That means this will probably... so you can hear it from my headset into my microphone. That's interesting. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much as well for the super chat and channel support. Favorite Bob's Burger
really
character?
Good one is the when Vader fights Ahsoka. Not from the main story movies, but if you're a fan of the animated series, it hits pretty good. Specifically the part when Vader calls her name.
Interesting. Chris, thank you so much for the channel support, man. I greatly appreciate that. Give me 1 sec, man. Give me many minutes. I'm very long-winded here, and I am 20 minutes behind on all these super chats, but I appreciate the hell out of the channel support, guys. So sit back and fly through some intergalactic space as we head to Andromeda and just hang out for a little bit. As always, I appreciate the patience, and I apologize for being super long-winded. But yeah. Oh, Vince, my favorite Bob's Burger character is Tina. You know, she's the dry sense of humor that she has. There's the guy, the voice actor is a guy, and I can't remember. Tina voice actor, Bob's Burgers. It's hilarious. If you want to laugh, Vince, watch some table reads of Bob's Burgers, or any animated show for that matter. But Bob's Burgers is interesting because Dan Mintz, that's his name. Dan Mintz is the voice of Tina. And when you hear him talking in the Tina voice, and that's his voice, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like mind-blowing. But yeah, Tina's my favorite character, I think, just because she's like, I don't know, she's... the sense of the things she says and the things that she does is just like, I don't know, she's like an adolescent kid who is a little bit of a weirdo, and yeah, I would say she's my favorite character. I would say so. Well, yeah, but yeah, if you haven't seen those table reads, it's worth watching. Just for it's like whenever you watch old table reads of Family Guy or Simpsons or anything like that, right? It's the same kind of vibe. It's kind of a weird like mind-blowing feeling to see the people that do the voices reading the voices without seeing the characters, right? But yeah. And Douglas Power, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening, Mr. Powers. Douglas Powers says, where did it go? There we go. Douglas Power says, I love Rey's theme, but I like the A New Hope theme in the ending scene of The Rise of Skywalker. No matter what your thoughts are on that scene, it's just perfect theme for John Williams' last unique piece. A little tying it all together, a little bringing it all around. Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to deny. I didn't, as you said, you know, you guys know this. I didn't really care for The Rise of Skywalker. It's pretty low on my list. The music is undeniable. That being said, I can't really picture any scene where the music hit me, and I think maybe that's because I don't know. I don't know why. There wasn't like a Rey's theme moment for me, right? Douglas, you mentioned Rey's theme. It's one of my favorite themes in the entire saga. And when you heard Rey's theme for the first time, you know, it's quiet and there's nothing going on. It's just she's sliding down a hill, and there's this soft, melodic, beautiful theme going on. and you know, there's no craziness going on in the background. There's not explosions, not a Palpatine shooting lightning with his fingers into space. It's just soft and melodic, and it punches through the speakers so perfectly that it's so clear, and it's so adventurous and innocent in a way. Yeah, Douglas, I will never forget my first viewing of the Force Awakens for that very reason. You know, for the reason of that. Now, when I go see The Rise of Skywalker on subsequent viewings in the future, I'll probably have to wait until it comes out on home viewing, to tell you the truth. That's something that I'm really excited to kind of pay more attention to, the music. Because I find that with certain songs and certain scenes and whatnot, it kind of gets lost in the noise in a movie theater. To me, at least. Maybe it's just a theater that I saw it at, but yeah. Anyway, Douglas, I appreciate that, man. Gotta love some Rey's theme. It's funny because occasionally I'll just say, "Hey Alexa, play Rey's theme from Star Wars," and then it'll play, and I'll fold a basket of laundry. But yeah. And Caleb Kemp, thank you so much once again for the channel support this evening, man. My favorite bombastic themes: Duel of the Fates, Imperial March, TIE Fighter Attack, Battle of Endor, Enter Lord Vader. Yeah, the one that, well, they all stick out, but I think my favorite out of all of those is TIE Fighter Attack. It's, I'm gonna listen to it right now, actually, with my my desktop audio turned off, so I can just hear it. Yeah. Da 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 da. I love it. That's one of my all-time favorite, like, songs that is just completely, it's a great song to, I don't know, for a space battle, right? It's that punchy cadence. Da 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 da. It's too good. It's too good. I don't even know what else to say about it. I just kind of want to listen to the rest of it. But yeah, man, all fantastic. Duel of the Fates, as I said earlier, I remember hearing that for the first time and just being completely blown away because it was so different, right? But yeah, Caleb. TIE Fighter Attack. It just sets the cadence. I can picture the motion of the craft. I can picture the scenes. Pretty insane how a piece of music can just kind of instantly put you into the moment of the movie, right? It's really interesting. But yeah. And Killian Hannon, thank you so much for the channel support this evening, man. I'm just going to keep my desktop audio off so I can Google these. Okay, Battle of the Heroes. Stronger chorus. Battle of the Heroes. Here we go. Yeah, for me, it's harder for me to, I mean, you guys know this. It's harder for me to picture where a lot of the prequel songs pop. Here we go. Oh, yeah, this is a great one, too. Oh, Palpatine looks weird on the soundtrack cover. He looks like the lady that in that Princess Bride who screams, "Boo, boo." Yeah, this is a great one. Loud chorus. Duel of the Fate vibes for sure. Yeah, I don't know the names of these. That's really interesting to me. you guys can recall the names of them so quickly. I for whatever reason, I've never, even with original trilogy stuff, I have a hard time remembering or even knowing what a lot of these are called. At the beginning of the stream, I hummed a song and everybody was like, TIE Fighter Attack, TIE Fighter Attack, and I was like, I don't remember the name of it. I don't know if I've ever looked that up. You know, I usually just say, hey, Alexa, play some Star Wars music. But yeah, that's a great one too. I mean, yeah, without that theme, would that fight be as memorable? I don't think so. John Williams sets the tone, man. But yeah, I appreciate that, Killian. And Overlorded Sith, thank you so much for the channel support as well. You should check out Samuel Kim's Palpatine theme. It's pretty cool. Reminds me of Revan's theme in a way. Samuel Kim's. Samuel Kim. American singer. Samuel Kim. Is that... No, that's not the same guy. No, it's not. That's not the Dark Side Collect. What is this from? Let me see what this is from. Is Samuel Kim just a YouTuber who uploads? I'm listening to it right now. So does he... Oh, okay. Interesting. Dark Side Collection. Nice. I'll have to keep in mind the channel just to keep things categorized and ready to listen to. Nice. I appreciate the recommendation there, Overlord. I'll go ahead and bookmark them. It's funny, I used to use all this kind of music in my original videos. My very, very first videos, I had so many Star Wars themes running through them, like actual music from the movies. I should never have done that. Just because, like, a lot of my videos have been struck down for copyright infringement, and if I could make all those videos over again, I would definitely not use copywritten Star Wars music. But yeah. Carter Lovejoy, thank you so much for the channel support, man. Fandom was a mistake by George Lucas. Fantastic song, Carter. Fandom was a mistake. Rabid fans, man. Don't like a movie. Gotta harp all over it. Gotta pump out videos. You're mad at what an actor or actress said. Gotta tweet like a madman. Tell people you do not approve of what that actor said. Gotta get mad at John Boyega for nonsense. Fandom was a mistake. George Lucas. I appreciate that, Carter. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support, man. Do you ever give a shit at all about Batman? If yes, what do you think of Pattinson as Bats? Also, the Marauders arrive from Solo is glorious. You know, I never was really that big of a Batman fan. My superhero growing up was Superman. Obviously, you know, I had Batman figures. You know, what kid doesn't really like Batman? But for me, the Batman movies that I thoroughly enjoyed, like the rest of us, right? Dark Knight and the entire Nolan movies. Those are the only ones that I really care for. Just because they're good movies too. They're not just like superhero schlock. You know, they're kind of the best of the best in my opinion. But so no, other than that, I've never really been that deep into it. But that being said, Pattinson, as Batman, I've never been opposed to it. I think it would be great. You know, if the studio thinks he would do a good job, I'm all for it. I've only seen him. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything, but apparently he's a good actor. He's in that Lighthouse movie that I really want to see. So yeah, I tend to trust casting departments over like internet mobs, right? I can remember plain as day when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, and how everybody was like, "What? Huh? This pretty boy who played in A Knight's Tale, he's gonna be the Joker? Oh yeah, he is, Mr. Internet Man, and you will be talking about it for decades to come." So, no, I dig it. A casting decision like that actually makes me a little more intrigued to see a future Batman movie, to tell you the truth. So, yeah. And I can't picture the Marauders arrive from Solo. I can't really picture any of the music from Solo or Rogue One. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen those movies as much as the other ones. And it's not Williams. So maybe I'm not paying as much attention, and maybe it just doesn't punch as much, but I'll have to listen to that one for sure. But I appreciate that, Vince. Pattinson's gonna kill it. Yeah, I hope so. It's a case of like, I think most people have a level head on their shoulders when it comes to casting, but there's always the extremely vocal group who always disapproves of whoever's cast, right? It's like you know what it reminds me of, Vince? If you ever watch the NFL draft, and don't, because it's a giant waste of time, why waste your time watching the NFL draft? But if you watch the NFL draft, you'll see the camera go to a group of fans. Let's say the Kansas City Chiefs pick somebody, and the camera cuts to a group of like Chiefs fans, right? Chiefs is just an example, but they'll cut to a group of Chiefs fans. They'll announce who the Chiefs pick, and then everybody's like, "What? They should have gone with blah. They should have done this. They should have done that. What?" It's like disapproval on a massive scale. And that's what casting news and the reaction to some casting news always reminds me of. And meanwhile, the person that they recruit is probably going to be great. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. Anyway. So yeah, that casting news actually intrigues me. It makes me want to watch the movie. So I appreciate that, man. And Starwave, thank you so much for the channel support, man. I gotta say, Battle of Heroes will always have a special place for me, since Revenge of the Sith was my first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. Oh, I could just hear it in my head. I just listened to it recently, like within the past 20 minutes. No, it kind of has Duel of the Fate vibes, right? The chorus in the background, I completely get it, Starwave, especially having that impression of seeing it in the theater, right, man? I mean, like, so still to this day, Starwave, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie-going experience. If you guys have read the book, you guys know why. I dressed up as Greedo, my buddy dressed up as Han. We went to the midnight premiere of Revenge of the Sith, and it was just such an experience, you know. So I have a lot of fond memories and nostalgia for that movie, that experience, that music. So I completely get it. And yeah, that entire sequence would not be as impactful whatsoever without that just kind of epic music, right? But yeah. I appreciate that, Starwave. All right, let me see. I am way behind. I apologize once again, man. Let's see. Senpai Gar, thank you so much for the channel support this evening as well. The Battle of Hoth and Departure of Boba Fett. Let me turn off my desktop audio and listen to the Departure of Boba Fett. All right. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I know all these songs. I don't know the names of them. Once again, the strings, rapid fire strings. It's that fast pace. Pulling in a lot of the yeah. Yeah, fantastic. You guys are just honestly making me want to listen to all this shit while I work tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'm just going to put on a huge Star Wars music playlist as I make videos. I wish I could play it for you guys, too. Da, da, da. Battle of Hoth. Oh, yeah, hell yeah. I have so many memories, not only of the Battle of Hoth for the movie, but this is used for Shadows of the Empire, too, you know. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. It's hilarious, man. I almost... I obviously love the scene, love the movie, but when I think of that song, I almost knee-jerk reaction to it being my memories of Shadows of the Empire, just because I've played that game so many times, you know. That's funny. But hell yeah, man. Not a bad song in the bunch. And Jared Montag, thank you so much for the channel support as well this evening. The Force Unleashed theme is pretty epic. The Force Unleashed theme. I played that game once. One singular horn. Oh, not now. That... Okay, I recognize it now. It almost feels like something from Lord of the Rings. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe. Huh. Yeah, so I've only played Force Unleashed once from start to finish, Jared. And that was on a live stream a couple of years ago. So I don't really remember that one. I don't have that kind of same nostalgia for that game as many of you guys do. And I have a hard time recalling the music from that game. But there's no question in my mind that I'm sure a lot of people agree with you. For what I just listened to a little bit of it, Jared, and for whatever reason, it kind of does remind me of like Lord of the Rings. I don't know why, but I appreciate that, man. And Dion R, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. The Imperial March. I'm gonna turn on back my music so we can vibe a little bit and hang out. It helps the thought process, not me sitting in complete silence, right? Dion R says the Imperial March and Anakin versus Obi-Wan. A lot of people have brought up the Anakin versus Obi-Wan song, which is called the Battle of Heroes, right? Yeah, so extremely epic song for an extremely epic moment. And it fits perfectly with the orchestra, the chorus, rather. And the Imperial March, Dion, as I said earlier, it's like a left, 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 you're right, left, you're right. It's just like a cadence. It's a military cadence. It fits perfectly. I mentioned it before. It reminds me of the Jaws theme. You know, just a slow pace. We're coming here. We're you know what I mean? Somebody needs to, maybe I can make the video. Turn the Imperial March into an actual cadence that you can march to. Somebody needs to make that parody video. I have a set of Stormtrooper armor. Maybe it'll be me, but yeah. And Imperial March, what I actually really love that the Imperial March is actually a part of like in-universe canon now. I really enjoyed that when we saw that in it was Solo, right? Or was that Rogue One? I think it was Solo during the where he's like talking to the not necessarily a recruiter. Was that in Solo or was that in Rogue One? I'm pretty sure that was Solo, right? But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Dion. And Caleb Kemp, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Also, I have a sweet spot for the Clone Wars movie soundtrack, being my first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. Oh, interesting. It was also the first Star Wars soundtrack I paid for with my own money. That'll do it, right? Well, speaking of paying with your own money and soundtracks and stuff like that, I think the first soundtrack that I ever bought with my own money was the Men in Black soundtrack. I want to say that's what it was. Let me see. Soundtrack came out in 98. Is that when it was? 97. So, yeah, there's no question on my mind that was the first soundtrack that I ever purchased as a kid with my own money. I would have been 11 years old, so just saving up to buy a little bit of Will Smith fun. I still have that CD. I still have all my old CDs, right? As most of us probably do, but that's funny. Anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. The Clone Wars movie, I honestly don't remember much. I saw it 2 or 3 years ago for the first time. I'm sure I made a review of it. It probably was one of my first Clone Wars review videos. And I don't really remember any of the music, to tell you the truth. And I'm sure that's just because I didn't watch it when it came out. It didn't ever really hit me. I came really late to the party. But yeah, the first Star Wars movie you saw in the theater was the Clone Wars movie. Interesting. The Clone Wars movie came out when? 2008? Or 2007? 2008. Okay, 2008. So yeah, I definitely probably didn't even know it existed at the time. I was at my first command, so wasn't really paying attention to much. 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. 39% audience score. 35% Metacritic. 5.9 on IMDb. Interesting. What were you doing in 1999 Phantom Menace movie opening? I was 13, and I went and saw it with my dad first. And then I ended up seeing it again with my sister and a couple of her friends and my mom for a second viewing. So yeah, I was into it. I was playing with the action figures, making little stop motion animated videos with my family's camcorder. Gotta love it. And Carter Lovejoy, thank you so much for the channel support this evening. I appreciate that, man. Imagine if the OT's music was 80s synth, the PT's was techno music, and the sequel trilogy was EDM, dubstep, and trap. Yeah. I mean, what's great about the Star Wars universe, not only with, definitely with music, but there's no, as much as I love, Beastie Boys' Sabotage being in Star Trek 2009, I love that moment. You're never going to have that in Star Wars, right? You're not going to have some well-known just kind of like songs or whatnot in Star Wars. So it's kind of a timeless piece of music, I guess, right? Or soundtrack, because it is all, orchestra. It really is timeless. It's not kind of forced into a pocket of, whenever you watch like an old, let's say 80s action movie, right? Dude, the music in so many of those movies, you just listen to it and you go, oh, this is 80s. This is what was popular in 80s action movie music. With Star Wars, it's just, all feeling. It's pretty great. And by the same token, it's also awesome. It's in a galaxy far, far away. We'll never have like Pepsi advertisements, right? I don't know why. I love that. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Carter. And Caleb Kemp, once again, Battle of Christophsis, landing on Teth, Obi-Wan to the rescue, and Anakin vs. Dooku especially I considered to be up there with John Williams' music. I can't picture, I'm going to have to listen to these, but after the stream, Battle of Christophsis. There it is. Boom. Okay. So, artist Kevin Kiner, City of Prague. Let's see, Kevin Kiner. He did the Rebels theme as well. He's done a lot of stuff. Let's see. He did the soundtrack for the movie Pest. I'm sure you all will remember The Pest with John Leguizamo. I completely forgot that movie existed until this instant. I remember seeing it as a kid. Has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 68% audience score. All right. Interesting. What else has he done? He's done a lot. Wow. A lot of stuff that... He did the soundtrack for Stand Up Confidential, the Jerry Seinfeld. Interesting. Okay. He's done a... was he the sole... I can't imagine he was the sole composer on Clone Wars, was he? Let's see here. Maybe it was just the film. No, he did seasons 1 through... He's done a ton. Interesting. No, I can't picture any of those, Caleb. Just because I'm not very familiar with it, you know. But yeah, I'll give it a... That's kind of the perfect... I can listen to that kind of stuff because I'm not familiar with it, and I can work. If I listen to... I think if I listen to a lot of sound, like Star Wars soundtrack music that I'm very, very familiar with, while I tried to work, I think it would almost be like... If you try to write, write a paper while you're listening to a podcast, I cannot do that just because I'm listening to the voices. I feel like if I listen to Star Wars music while I try to work on videos or write scripts, it would have the same effect to me. I wouldn't be able to concentrate just because I'd, be into it. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. So I might give it a little listen in the morning. Sean O, thank you so much as well. Everyone knows Imperial March, but what about Imperial Suite from Rogue One? Let me mute my desktop audio here. Oh, yeah. Yep, I can... Yep, I remember hearing this. Yep, I remember it. Yeah, I for whatever reason it doesn't have the same punch. I don't know if it's just because I don't have a scene to tie it along with that really impacts me. You guys know that Rogue One is one of my least favorite Star Wars movies, so it's possible that the mixture of... Well, then again, that's not true, because I really love the music from the prequels, and a lot of those, those movies are kind of low on my list too, so I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that... I don't know. It is a great kind of marching order song for sure. Dun 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 dun. It definitely fits. More Michael Giacchino? Giacchino, is that how you say it? Giacchino? Let him make some more Star Wars music. Might as well. It fits. All right. Truthfully, a lot of these songs are like making me want to watch Rogue One and Solo again. Two of my least favorite Star Wars movies. It's kind of interesting. Just hearing the music is kind of making me want to watch them. But yeah. And Caleb Kemp, once again, my favorite main theme is the Revenge of the Sith theme. The battle music after the theme is glorious. The battle music, like the long cut dogfight, aerial fighting, or the space combat scenes. That's an extremely long shot, right? I think if I'm remembering that correctly. Once again, Caleb, you bring up a lot of things that I'm not 100% familiar with. I can't picture, if you told me, can you picture, I don't know, the music during the trench run or the TIE fighter attacks. I can picture the scene, I can picture the music, but with a lot of the Clone Wars and especially, Revenge of the Sith, I just can't picture it. And once again, Well, I think I said this last stream or maybe a couple streams ago. That with the context of the Clone Wars that I've been watching, and I'm almost done with, it's actually made me want to go back and watch the prequels because more context there, and in doing so, I'm very, very curious if I'll end up liking the movies more. I doubt it, but I have music playing in my head. There we go. Let me turn the music on. But I'm very curious. Anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. And Stud Bagel, dude, if you're still here, that's a feat. I appreciate you sending that over that super chat this evening. A lot of these are like 40 minutes old. I apologize, guys. I'm long-winded and you know how it goes. But Stud Bagel, thank you so much for the channel support this evening. As a musician, Anakin/Padme's sand kiss is perfect. The music really increases intensity to match the passion. And then as Padme pulls away, the music fades almost as it never happened. Genius. Interesting. I'm sure, I mean, you even said it as a musician. You notice a lot of these themes, these moments maybe more than most people do. And the reason for these moments and these cuts and whatnot existing. Because you kind of have that brain to kind of see what John Williams is going for maybe more than most, right? And the way you put it is kind of interesting. It fades away as almost as if it never happened. And I'm sure, when Williams is watching, because that's what they do. They watch the cuts of the movie and then he makes music for it. That's how it works. I'm sure as he's watching that exact thought is going through his brain, right? But interesting. I wish I had that kind of, I don't know, musical brain to kind of, I mean, imagine composing for scenes like that and trying to come up with entirely new themes and entirely new just kind of, I don't know, music to tie in with the emotion of the scene. It has to be one of the most difficult challenges in the entire production. Yeah, shots are difficult, right? I mean, writing the script obviously is difficult. All this stuff is difficult. Making a mask, whatever, it's difficult. But watching something that you didn't create, right? Watching something that you didn't create and that thing not having any music whatsoever, and you watch it, and you have to come up with, out of your own brain, out of your own creativity, you have to come up with the music that is going to set the entire tone of the scene and the film itself. That has got to be an insane feat. Crazy. There's a reason he's the best. But anyway, Stud Bagel, I appreciate that, man. And once again, thank you for tossing over some Cassini. I'm sure it'll come again, pop up again during this stream. But I appreciate that, man. And Caleb Kemp, once again, you can actually buy the original Return of the Jedi soundtrack on iTunes. Oh, the original. Interesting. I wonder if I can do that on Google Play. I got rid of iTunes a long time ago. Let's see. Return of the... Nope, not Return of the Pink Panther. The Return of the Jedi movie. Maybe I'm not in the right spot. I'll have to check that out. But John Williams and Truly Jam have inspired recently to write a suite of One Piece, my favorite fiction ever. For One Piece, what is that? Ah, is it manga or manga? I don't know anything about that world, man. Interesting. Well, judging by the song that you sent over, man, I mean, like, we'll play it again, but it's just, possibilities are endless. It's a beautiful tune. Beautiful tune. You guys are listening right now. You'll hear it in a second. Stud Bagel song that he sent over to be played on the stream. Fantastic. But I'll have to check that out, Caleb. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. And Lekel Lessel. I appreciate that channel support this evening as well, man. Luke versus Vader when he says he'll turn Leia. Absolutely. That entire scene. Well, you probably know this, man. That entire scene is my favorite lightsaber fight in the entire franchise, in the entire saga. In that particular moment, just completely is one of my favorite reasons for that being one of my favorite moments. When Vader is toying with Luke, right? Luke is kind of in the dark. He's hiding in the shadows. He doesn't want to fight, and Vader is toying with him and talking to him, and Luke is struggling. And Vader is looking for Luke, and he says, if you will not be turned, perhaps she will. And Luke pops up, music. He screams, "Never!" And he goes in for the fight. That entire sequence, the music that transpires with it, Luke losing control, the chaos of it, he's swinging for the fences. So, yes, that moment, mixed with the music and then just the entire intensity around and the subsequent things that happen after that exact moment, is just kind of the perfect whirlwind, the perfect just kind of blender of all things great when it comes to Star Wars, But yeah, hell yeah, I appreciate that, man. And Chris Tears, thank you so much as well for the channel support. A really good one is when Vader fights Ahsoka, not from the main story movies, but if you're a fan of the animated series, it hits pretty good. Specifically, the part when Vader calls her name. I haven't got there. Because I've only watched the first season of Rebels. You haven't spoiled anything. I basically know what happens, so don't worry about spoilers. I've only watched the first season of Rebels, Chris. So, after the Clone Wars airs and I've finished that up, I'm planning on watching Rebels at some point. So I don't know the music. I don't know the scene. I've never watched the scene, but I vaguely know what goes on. Interesting. So I'm really looking forward to watching it, Chris. As I said, I still have a few episodes left of the Clone Wars before I'm all caught up. And then when season 7 of the Clone Wars premieres, obviously I'm going to watch that. I'm going to put, everything on hold and watch that and make videos on that. And after the Clone Wars season 7 airs, I'm going to be watching the 2003 Clone Wars animated thingy. That's kind of what I'm going to do after the Clone Wars season 7. And then after that, I'm going to watch Rebels. So it's kind of funny, man. Like, I could have watched Rebels as it was airing. For whatever reason, I didn't. I do that with a lot of shows, But anyway, I appreciate that, Chris. And Cosmic Reader, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. My favorite will always be Yoda's theme. The music is so peaceful. It's the music I also think of when I think about the Force. That's a really interesting way to put it, and it's a good way to put it, Cosmic Reader. When you think of the Force, that's what you hear. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that the Force, to me, when I think of the Force, I think of Yoda and like The Empire Strikes Back. Yoda, the Force, right? I don't think of flips. I don't think of super jumps. I don't think of Force lightning. I don't think of superpowers. I don't think of any of that stuff. When I think of the Force, I think of Yoda. Sure, Yoda's theme. Mix that in there. And The Empire Strikes Back vibe. So the theme and thinking about the Force is kind of, let's listen to that right now, or I will listen to it right now. Let me turn off my desktop. There we go. Yeah, strings. Yeah, it's beautiful. It feels almost like, yeah, it feels something out of a fantasy game or novel, right? It kind of reminds me of like Betrayal at Krondor or Ultima. It's beautiful. And it's adventurous when it peps up. It gets a little pep in its step, and you can just picture Yoda walking around, right? Yeah, it's a good way to put it, man. When you think of the Force, that's what you think of, that theme, or yeah, fantastic. But I'm with you. When I think of the Force, I think of Yoda. I think of Empire Strikes Back Yoda. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. What song is this? Oh, So Long Analog. There we go. Is the music too loud? Let me know if it is. And Caretaker Wanted, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. When the CGI flea yells at the camera, such poetry. I apologize, Caretaker. That was 40 minutes ago. Yeah, the CGI flea, he opens his mouth really, really wide, and you can see all the spit in his mouth. It's just a beautiful scene, right? Yeah, it's yeah, I don't like that at all. I will venture out and say I hate that. Just because it's mixed in with the things that I dislike about the changes, right? So I would take Lepty Neck over Jedi Rocks and that singing flea any day. Keep your mouth closed, CGI flea. Keep your mouth closed. But I appreciate that, Caretaker. I agree with you, Mooch. Love it. Let's see. And Caleb Kemp, once again, also I saw The Rise of Skywalker again. What'd you think? I'm going to keep an eye on the chat, but what'd you think, man? I've heard from multiple people, the majority of who I think said they liked it more after subsequent viewings. I have a couple buddies who have seen it a couple times now, like real life friends that I've known for a very, very long time. They've seen it multiple times, and the majority of them said it was just this, you know, they didn't like it any more or less. It was just kind of there, you know, but yeah. I'll see it as soon as it becomes available for home viewing to rent or something like that on Google Play. I'll be there the night that it, you know, arrives. Let's see. All right. And Dara O'Sullivan, thank you so much for the channel support. Kylo breaks his helmet and TLJ and goes into his theme. Yeah, I can hear the like the yeah, Kylo's theme is fantastic. It is eerie, it is menacing. And that moment, specifically that moment in TLJ that you're mentioning, it's like you feel the anger in the music, just kind of like, I don't know, fits the mood in that scene perfectly. I love Kylo Ren like that. That's my favorite Kylo Ren. Like, cool, Kylo Ren redeemed in The Rise of Skywalker, great, you know, good guy Ben. But I like Kylo when he is a loose cannon. I like him when he's a loose cannon. I do. And that particular scene mixed with the his theme blaring there as the helmet hits, it packs a punch for sure. But I appreciate that, Dara. All right, one sec, guys. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, and Seshi Maru Dano, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Seen any of the behind-the-scenes stuff for The Mandalorian that's been coming out? The technology they used is really cool and surprising. But yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up as well. I've seen some, I don't know if there's videos or anything, but I have seen some pictures that some people posted on Twitter, Seshi. And what's, I mean, for those of you who have not seen this, it's worth fishing around for and looking at, but apparently, and I don't know if this is true, I would assume they shot on location at some point, right? But apparently, if not all, the vast majority or a lot of the scenes that you think are shot outside in The Mandalorian are actually shot in a studio with some like almost like a rear screen projection technology. And that kind of technology has been used in movies forever. I mean, back in the day, that's what they shot, like whenever they had a train. Let's say there was an old movie and they had a train going, and you see people in the train, and you see the background moving. That was a rear projection, right? A lot of stuff in King Kong was rear projection. Even Miracle on 34th Street, when the girl is looking out the window and at the Christmas parade, that's all a rear projection, right? So that technology has always been there, but obviously it's gotten better and better and better and better. So a lot of the scenes that they shot were rear projected. When I found that out, I was pretty blown away. Such an old practice, such an old idea, a way to make a movie, being used in a modern way better than it's ever been. It's crazy. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, fish around for it. It's really interesting to see. And I would love to kind of dive deeper into it other than just seeing a couple pictures on Twitter, So anyway, Seshi, I appreciate the hell out of that, and I appreciate you bringing it up for everybody to check out. And Obsworth, thank you so much for the channel support this evening, man. Obsworth says, Binary Sunset, always and forever. Obsworth, I it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but if I had to pick a favorite off the top of my head on the spot, that might be it. Because, I mean, you guys know this. When Luke is gazing out at the twin suns on Tatooine, that is one of my favorite Star Wars moments. When I think of Star Wars, that is one of the scenes that I really, really think of. And the scene of Luke and the journey he's about to go on, or the adventure that he's craving, mixed with the let me turn the music down a little bit. Mixed with the binary sunset, mixed with the twin suns, mixed with that music, is just so, I don't know. It just kind of it just perfectly fits the mood. Perfectly fits the mood. So yeah, Obsworth. If I had to pick one, like a favorite theme, a favorite song, mixed with one of my favorite scenes, that would be it. But yeah, I appreciate that, Obsworth. And Senpai Gar, thank you so much for the channel support. I love the Mandalorian in credit theme. Yes, it's I mean, it's so reminiscent of so many westerns and whatnot. That goes without saying, right? But I love it too. It gives like it just feels like a chapter is closed and here's the triumphant ending, and it's the hero is going on another adventure. It's fantastic. I really like the music in the show as a whole, just because a lot of the time it's very simple. They're often not like major grandiose themes, which is great, but this is a nice change of pace, right? So yeah, the Mandalorian in credit theme, and it's sprinkled in there throughout some of the episodes here and there, is fantastic. It fits and it's different, right? Yeah. It's not the end by B. It's not the end for End by B. Arthur. Oh, Zach is throwing in some holiday special references there. Nice. Cosmic Reader, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Once again, it's funny that even though the franchise is called Star Wars, my favorite piece of music are the ones that are more calm and more peaceful, not the themes you hear in all the battles. No, I'm with you. I completely agree. My favorite themes are Binary Sunset, Rey's theme, but then I also love the marchy stuff, right? TIE Fighter Attack and in the asteroid field, and the fast-paced, frantic themes are also fun. But for the most part, I tend to agree. I like the more slow-paced and melodic themes. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe it's because the music is kind of almost like the primary focus in a lot of those scenes, right? When Rey is sliding down the sand, and you know, there's not a lot of stuff going on, and your brain and your ears focus more on the music. It's the same with the Binary Sunset, right? So, and it's also more of an emotional punch and an emotion that you can kind of tack onto a piece of music, and the music is really setting the tone in a lot of those scenes. So, no, I'm in complete agreement, Cosmic. As much as I love a lot of the marchy stuff, a lot of the battle music, and it all, you know, for obvious reasons, I think my favorites tend to be on the more melodic side, on the more subdued side for sure. But yeah, Cosmic, I appreciate that, man. And Zach Rosenfeld, thank you so much for the channel support this evening. I'll always have a soft spot for the Trade Federation March because Lego Star Wars for the Game Boy Advance, is that what that is? GBA? Used it in a lot of levels. Is that GBA, Game Boy Advance? Game Boy Advance. See, this old son of a bitch knows some things. What year did that come out? 2001. Okay. I never owned a well, I never played that game, Zach. I never owned a Game Boy Advance. The only handheld gaming system that I've ever owned was a Game Gear. I owned a Game Gear. Game Gear. Let's see. Game Gear. The Game Gear came out in 1991 in North America. 1991. What? Did they have a Game Gear? They had to have had a different one, right? I know I owned a Game Gear. It got discontinued. Okay, so, yep, I owned one. I must have not had it in 91 when it first was available in North America. I'm sure I got it after that. I would have been 5. I was playing a lot of games when I was like... I think I started playing Mario for the first time when I was like 2 or 3. There's pictures of me in my old bedroom as a child playing some Mario. So, yeah, interesting. Sorry, man, I'm going down a rabbit hole of Sega Game Gear stuff. It was a fun little gaming system. I don't even remember what games I had, but yeah. Game Gear 64. No, is that a thing? Game Gear 64? Game Gear 64. Mod a Sega Game Gear into a Nintendo 64. Interesting. No, Game Gear supported blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so Game Gear. Man, bringing back memories. Oh yeah, you could put, the Game Gear had an attachment where you could plug in like a TV antenna to it and you could watch TV on your Game Gear. Innovation. Innovation almost 30 years ago. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Well, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Zach. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Venom is good the 5th time. Gonna watch it 5 times. Oh, gotta watch it 5 times. I like have when I think of movies that I have zero desire to see, Vince, that's one of them. I don't know why. It's not a knock on the movie. I don't know why. I just have zero desire to see it. It's not because of any kind of critic reception. It's not because of what I've heard from people about the movie. It's just because, like, I don't know. I don't have any desire to see that. I don't. It's the same with a lot of those kind of movies, right? I don't have a desire to see a lot of. I mean, I don't know. Certain comic book movies I do, but a lot of them just kind of, I don't know, whatever. I don't really care to see it. But I will not be seeing it, Vince, 5 times. And before I die, I probably won't see it once. So, anyway, I appreciate that, man. In Star Wars Story, thank you so much for the channel support this evening as well, man. Mongolian heavy metal band The Who had a song in Jedi Fallen Order Black Thunder. It's catchy. In 2002, John Williams used same music in both Attack of the Clones and Harry Potter 2. An old post regarding Anakin saying, "Padme, help me," right before the mask goes on has resurfaced. I isolated and boosted the audio. I think it's legit. The music, interesting. Is that the, is it the da da da? I can picture, is that the song that I'm thinking of, Star Wars Story? Is the Jedi Fallen Order song that you're talking about the one that plays at the very beginning? Mel Brooks' Venom. Is that the song that plays at the very beginning of the game? I can hear that song plain as day in my head. It actually kind of reminded me of the song that plays, if it is the same song, it kind of reminded me of the song that played at the beginning, in Maz Kanata's bar, in The Force Awakens. Kind of that same guttural vibe to it. I've never, let me see. And in the middle of the game. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay. I had no idea that it was a band that did it. That's really cool. The Who. Star Wars. Look at the first thing that pops up. Of course it is. Nice. All right. That's pretty awesome. Just made this Mongolian rock band. Black Thunder. But it's not. So is this the lyrics that you're hearing? Interesting. I'm gonna look more into this. That's really cool. It's all on YouTube. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Interesting. An old post regarding Anakin saying "Padme help me" right before the mask goes on has resurfaced. I isolated and boosted the audio. I think it's legit. Huh. Padme help me. Let's see. Does Anakin call out for Padme when he is first fit with Darth Vader's suit in Revenge of the Sith? So for the first time on Coruscant and around 3:50 in this video, it sounds like he quietly says, "Padme, help me." Any thoughts? Interesting. I've never heard this. People are saying I can't hear anything. There is definitely some kind of sound right as the helmet gets connected at the bottom. It does kind of sound like "Padme, help" in a raspy whisper, but also could be because that's exactly what I was expecting to hear. That's true. That's true too. You hear what you want to hear, right? Interesting. I'm gonna keep this up. This might actually be a fun topic of discussion for a video. Since you isolated the audio, I might actually end up doing something similar. But anyway, story. I appreciate that, man. Let me take a quick sip of the old water, guys. It's really subtle, very easy to miss. Yeah, I'm reading this Reddit thread, people talking about it. And JetBlast190, thank you so much for the channel support this evening as well. Something more recent that I find to be haunting and moving are the scores during the climactic moments for Rebels, Jedi Knight, A World Between Worlds, and A Fool's Hope. Very operatic. But yeah, so JetBlast, I actually haven't watched the entirety of Rebels yet. I know that's stupid, right? Star Wars YouTuber has only watched the first season of Rebels. I vaguely know what happens. I mean, I basically know what happens just by virtue of being a Star Wars fan, being on the internet, and having this channel. It's very difficult to go spoiler free with, shows and whatnot that already exist. So I've never heard any of those pieces of music. But JetBlast, once I'm done with Season 7 of the Clone Wars, and then I'm going to watch the 2003 Clone Wars animated series. Once I'm done with those two things, I'm planning on jumping into Rebels, back into Rebels, checking out Season 2, and moving forward from there. I'm not when I do my Rebels viewing, I'm not going to do individual episode videos. I'm literally just going to watch. Well, I might do like 3-episode chunks and whatnot, do a video, but it's not going to be like I do with the Clone Wars videos. It's not going to be as like beat for beat or as recappy, if that makes sense. But I'm excited to check them out, JetBlast. In my opinion, Rebels get better with each season. Not a big opera fan, but it works in those episodes. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like, vocals and whatnot in Star Wars music. I remember the first time I heard Duel of the Fates and being completely blown away because it was so different, right? It definitely, I don't know, it makes things more dramatic in a way, hearing the voices and whatnot. But yeah, man, I'm excited to jump back in. I'm excited. There's just so much Star Wars that I need to watch still. It's really dumb that I didn't finish that. Like I should have been watching it with everybody else as it was airing. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah. But I appreciate that, Jet Blast. You have to stay tuned for those videos, probably in 5 months. And I look forward to hearing those tunes. In Star Wars Story, once again, thank you so much, man. The music at the end of episode 1 is Palp's theme sped up. Somebody actually brought that up at the beginning of the stream. It's called, I had it pulled up. I can't remember the name of the song. The da 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 da. Yeah, I never knew that. I've never put 2 and 2 together. But I love that ending theme for during the Phantom Menace. It's very, as I put it, it's very like high school band, right? High school marching band. And it's, yeah, it's fun. Very, very triumphant. But I've never put 2 and 2 together, Star Wars Story. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support this evening once again, man. What do you think happened to Sid to make him so abusive to his toys? Oh, that is a deep question, man. Oh, that's a deep question. Did he have was his dad in the picture? No, but nobody there to smack his hand when he put firecrackers on his sister's toys? No authority figure saying, "What are you doing, Sid, you big dumbass?" I don't know. What happened to Sid to make him so abusive with his toys? Maybe no parental engagement? Maybe nobody to tell him that what he was doing was weird and wrong? Or maybe he was just a kid with some firecrackers and the movie made it seem like it was a little more dramatic than it actually was. Even though he was an evil son of a bitch, right? To the kid, to the toys, I suppose. Let's theorize. Why was Sid such an asshole? Why was Sid such an asshole with his skull t-shirt? Cal Walker, his dad was asleep with a bunch of beer cans around him. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, if you guys are parents and when you become fathers and when you become parents, be attentive. You don't want to create a Sid. You don't want to create a Sid. But yeah, Vince, I appreciate that, man. I guess that's your answer. His dad was asleep with a bunch of beer cans around him. In Star Wars Story, once again, thank you so much for the channel support this evening. Excluding his first scene, Kenobi never had a theme. I guess that's true. I mean, certain characters... I mean, Leia has a theme. I guess you would... I guess you could consider the Imperial March a little bit of a Vader theme. I mean, I guess character themes are... I guess they're not too infrequent. I don't know. That's interesting. A lot of the time when Kenobi's with other people and... and interesting. I've never thought of that. That's something I'll look into too. I should do a video on character. Like, I've thought about doing music videos. Not music videos like making a music video, but like videos on Star Wars music before. And it's so hard to do because... and I didn't realize this stream would be actually kind of difficult to do until I started the stream up, because there's so many people are throwing so many names of songs at me that, you know, I don't really know the names of a lot of these songs, and I have to, you know, kind of put the stream on hold to listen to it a little bit. It's kind of interesting, but I've wanted to do Star Wars music theme videos before, and it's just so difficult to do it because when somebody clicks on a video that's going to be about Star Wars music, they want to hear Star Wars music, but the video would instantly get taken down if I did that. So it's kind of a bummer that I can't play a lot of Star Wars music and actually just talk about it, right? But anyway, I appreciate that story. And Leckel, not Star Wars, but Michael Giacchino, Arnhem Knights, perfect. Arnhem, is that what that says? Arnhem Knights. I don't know what that is. Arnhem Knights. Oh, so he did. Are you Medal of Honor? Is that what we're talking about here? I had no idea that he also did. I'm gonna listen to this. Is this the first Medal of Honor? Let me listen to this real quick. What's really interesting to me, the Medal of Honor Frontline. Let's see. Medal of Honor Frontline came out in 2002. Okay. Medal of Honor. What was the first one? Medal of Honor game. Video game series. The first one was in 99. I don't know if I ever played Frontline. Oh, Frontline was not available for PS2. It was not available for the PC. Interesting. So I definitely never played it. I played Medal of Honor Allied Assault. Okay, I played that one for sure. That was the first one for the PC. It looks like. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. I'm listening to it right now. What's really interesting, Leckel, I hope I'm saying that correctly, is that when like Saving Private Ryan came out, right? When Saving Private Ryan came out, and then Band of Brothers came out in 2001, I believe. Band of Brothers, let me see. Band of Brothers came out in 2001. When Saving Private Ryan came out and Band of Brothers came out, every World War II video game or movie even kind of ended up having the same type of music as Band of Brothers and as Saving Private Ryan. It's kind of interesting. I play a game called Postscriptum, and it's a World War II, like, really, really intense, difficult World War II shooter. Very tactical, very strategic, and it's hard as hell. And the music in that game is, I mean, it could have been pulled right from Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers. It's really interesting how those two movies, and Band of Brothers is a show, but those two pieces of entertainment there really kind of set the tone, music-wise, for every game or movie or show that came after. You know, it's really interesting. If you play a World War II video game from then on, from like 2001 or even like 96, I believe is when Saving Private Ryan came out. The music is almost all identical, very same vibes, right, as that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Jarvis Villeman, thank you so much for the channel support as well. The best best original soundtrack for me overall is TFA. Race Theme and March of the Resistance are highlights, and the original soundtrack itself has variety but yet cohesive. I like the finality of Throne Room and Finale 2. Yeah, the soundtrack, especially in modern Star Wars context, Jarvis, when we're talking about the 5 more recent movies, the one that stands out more than any of them is The Force Awakens. I think the reason behind that is twofold. On one hand, you know, it was new. All the themes we were hearing for the first time, March of the Resistance, Kylo's theme, Rey's theme. There's so many, I don't know, pieces of music in that movie that you would hear bits and pieces of in the subsequent films too, Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. But it was all new, right? It was all fresh. You were hearing Rey's theme for the first time and being completely blown away. So there was kind of a simplicity to that soundtrack, more so than the other ones, I think. It was especially more so than The Rise of Skywalker. I have a kind of a hard time remembering music and scenes from that movie for whatever reason. But yeah, the Force Awakens soundtrack is just so great. So great. One of the best for sure. Oh, fantastic. March of that Resistance. But yeah, Jarvis, I'm in agreement, man. I appreciate that channel support this evening. And Vince Wynn, once again, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. It's time for the Jedi to bend. What Luke should have said before doing the Matrix dodge in TLJ. Oh my God. I see. When he went backwards, it's time for the, and then strobe lights and dance party music comes on. There's so many opportunities for stupid videos and parody videos that people can make. Maybe I'll do that. It's time for the Jedi to bend. Big neon purple lights. When I thought you were gonna say get in the bins, like you're swimming, and isn't that what that is? Getting the bins. Getting the bins. The bins, also known as a decompression sickness, or I don't know what that word is, occurs in scuba divers or high altitude or aerospace events when dissolved gases, mainly nitrogen, come out of solution in bubbles and can affect just about any body area, including joints, lung, heart, skin, and brain. Jedi getting the bends. Anyway, we learn something new every day. I appreciate that, Vince. Let's see. Let me take a quick sip of the old water. All right, Star Wars Story. Thank you so much for the channel support once again, man. Star Wars Story says, Dear HG, I wrote you... Is this a song? Let me see. I wrote you, but still ain't callin'? I left my cell. Let's see what the... Is this a song? Oh, this is... This is Eminem's Stan. I should have recognized that. Stupid. I can't remember the melody of it. I left my cell, my pager, my home phone at the bottom. I sent 2 letters back in autumn. You must not a got 'em. Is that Mom's Spaghetti song? Yeah, right? Mom's Spaghetti. Right? Oh, Google auto-corrected it. What? That's weird. Mom's Special Dahlia. It's a flower. Mom's Spaghetti. There we go. Dahlia. Oh, Dahlia. I was reading that wrong. Oh, no, it's not. It's not the same song. It's not the same song. How the hell did we get on this? I love it. I love it. All right, Star Wars Story. Thanks for the giggles. I appreciate that, man. And Nathan Pelka, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Marauders... Wonder he's got a stalker. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't realize I didn't know if that was the Mom's Spaghetti one either. I was when that song Rap God came out, I was just so impressed with it. I just kept listening to it nonstop. It is impressive. Nathan Pelka, thank you so much, man. Marauders arrive. AKA Enfys Nest theme from Solo. The chants in the theme give me chills. Solo: A Star Wars Story is the best newer Star Wars movie. I think Vince brought it up as well. I'm going to listen to it real quick. Marauders arrive theme. Cool. All right, let's see. I have the music. Very like tinny drum hits. It's interesting how so many like pieces of Star Wars music, after Duel of the Fates, incorporated some kind of chorus into it. I don't remember this. I've only seen Solo maybe 3 times. I love those, like, the strings. God. Yeah, it's great. That's a really great song. It's weird, man. You said that, Nathan said Solo: A Star Wars Story is the best newer Star Wars movie. It's actually really, really low on my list. So in terms of the modern Star Wars movies, my favorite is The Last Jedi, and then it goes The Force Awakens, and then it goes Solo, and then it goes Rogue One, and then it goes... Oh, man, that's really tough, actually. It might go The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, Solo, The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One. I'm just thinking about it like that. But in terms of my overall 11 film Star Wars saga movies, it is third from the bottom. Now that I think about it, though, I might like it more than The Rise of Skywalker. I might like it more than The Rise of Skywalker. I might. Oh, man. That's tough. This shit changes all the time for me. Solo is my favorite Disney movie, too. Vince Wen. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I've said this before. Nathan, you might have heard me. With a lot of Star Wars movies, the more I watch them, the more I like them, right? Like The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, the more I watched them, the more I liked them. Solo, for me, the more I watched them, but the more I watched it, the more I liked it. I like it more every time that I watch it. Rogue One, though, the more I watch it, the less I like it. It's weird. It's weird. And The Rise of Skywalker, I do not know how I will feel about it with subsequent viewing. So, yeah, I need to give it another watch, Nathan. I'm super excited for... I don't want my daughter to get older. I love the age she's at right now. I am in no rush. But I'm super excited for her when she's old enough to like sit down and watch all of these movies with me, because I'm going to be going on an adventure again from the perspective of a kid, right? It's going to be so much fun, man. So much fun. Once again, I am in no rush. No rush. I want her to be 22 months old forever because it's fun as shit. Speaking of bad words, we've been very careful with what we say. Me and my wife, she married a sailor, right? Literally a Navy sailor. So I have a mouth that I often I censor myself on here, which is to say a lot, right? Because I don't really, but I do. And we kind of... I was a bad influence in her bad words, but so we really, really are careful with what we say around my daughter. Today, she woke up from her nap, and before I was even able to change her diaper or anything like that, she said, "Holy crap!" and she said, "Damn it!" and I just started laughing. Like, I had to turn away. I didn't want her to see that I was laughing because I don't want her to say all this stuff. But it was just like, oh man, we really got to watch what we say. But what if your kid doesn't like Star Wars? Oh, I wouldn't care whatsoever, Cal. I wouldn't give a shit about if she likes Star Wars or not. If she wasn't into it, I don't care. Whatever she shows interest in, whatever she's into, that's what I'm gonna be into. So if she doesn't like Star Wars, I could give 2 shits. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Nathan. And Cosmic Reader, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Also, I really enjoyed Mando Says Goodbye from episode 4 of the show. It's the most Star Wars sounding theme of the whole show. Mando Says Goodbye. Mando Says Goodbye. Original soundtrack. The soundtrack's already out? Oh, interesting. I guess that makes sense. Or maybe somebody just ripped it. Let me listen to it real quick. Yeah. I almost want to sing some kind of like show tune along with it. Or not a show, like a Bing Crosby voice. Yeah, that's great. Are those horns? About halfway through the song, it's kind of has a little marchy, kind of heroic vibe to it. Like you're setting off into the sunset or riding away on your ship for another adventure. Yeah. Yeah, the music in The Mandalorian is fantastic. I think I like it more than the music in Solo and Rogue One. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for season 2. I know it's a long way off, but the more I think about it, the more I miss having The Mandalorian every Friday. I miss it. It's weird to miss a Star Wars live action show, you know? But dude, I'm so pumped for second season. Whenever that's to come. I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the silent support there. Was that an accident? Did you mean to type a little message in there, or it's off of my screen? I can't see it anymore. 118. Is that a reference to something? 118. But Vince, once again, man, I appreciate the ever living hell out of that super chat and channel support this evening. Not only this evening, but this entire month, man. It's insane. The channel survives because of you and everybody else that supported the channel. Oh, I see why you did 118. I see. Yeah, dude, from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate the ever living shit out of that. I don't know if I could ever repay you. It's much appreciated. Never question that. So I appreciate the hell out of that, Nathan. 118. That's the number of the HelloGreedo channel now. Lucas has 1138. I have 118. But I appreciate the shit out of that, man. And Fofo Nablis, I dig that name. I don't know. Is that a name I should know? Fofo Nablis. I don't know why I like that. YouTube channel. Let's check it out. Fofo Nablis has his own. Is that your real name? That's a cool name. I like that. I want to know the history of the name. Nice. But Fofo says, good evening, Greedo. I think my favorite piece is a tie between the Spark, TLJ, and Anakin's dark deeds. Okay, let me listen to Anakin's. No, actually, I'm going to listen to Spark. The Spark. I'm going to listen to both real quick. Oh, that slow build. I wish you guys could listen to it with me. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's, yeah. Especially knowing I'm listening to the Spark, by the way, right now, Fofo. Especially knowing what's transpiring, what's coming. I have said this before, Fofo, but that scene, that moment, Luke on Crate, so we thought, is one of, I think it will go down as one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars. I do. It was such a surprise. I will never. There's certain moments in certain Star Wars movies where you will remember the feeling that you had in the theater for the rest of your life. Right? For me, music-wise, at least music-wise, was Rey's theme, right? The Force Awakens, I'll never forget that, hearing that music for the first time in the theater and just being completely blown away. I will never forget the feeling that I had in The Last Jedi when Luke goes out and to confront the First Order, and that twist of him not actually being there. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Such a unique twist. I was completely blown away. I remember just through and through loving that. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Fofo. And Matt Hansen, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Matt Hansen says, "It's over now from Rebels Season 2 is perfection." It's over now song. This is definitely not the right song. Let's see. It's over now. Original soundtrack. All right. I don't know if you know this, Matt. I've never seen season 2 of Rebels. I've never seen the other seasons. I've only seen the first season. So I haven't seen this. Oh, it's the final scene. I'm not. Well, I know. Okay. I basically know what happens. So. Oh, it's the final scene of the entire show I just listened to. So yeah, that's beautiful. I'm not. I mean, Matt Hansen, it might be spoilery. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it because just by virtue of being a Star Wars fan and having this channel and existing in this hyper Star Wars world, it is very, very difficult to stay spoiler free with something like that, especially something like that, right? An episodic show that everybody has already seen. It's just very, very difficult for me to stay spoiler free. So you didn't spoil anything. I've actually never heard that song before, but No, you didn't. Trust me, Matt. You did not spoil anything for me. Trust me. No reason to apologize. I basically know everything that happens. I basically know everything that happens with the Clone Wars too. I still haven't seen season 7, but I basically know. So you didn't spoil anything. So I don't know if you heard this earlier, Matt. Once I'm done with season 7 of the Clone Wars, I still haven't seen season 6. I'm watching that now. Once I'm done with season 6, obviously I'm going to watch season 7. After season 7, I'm going to watch the 2003 Clone Wars animated show. And then after that, I'm going to binge Rebels. That's kind of my plan. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard nothing but great things. People have nonstop told me that the show gets better with each season. So I'm really looking forward to jumping back in. I should have realized since I know you're in the middle of Clone Wars, super pumped for season 7. No, you're good. Yeah, me too. It's going to be really fun for me, Matt, because I've been watching the Clone Wars over the past 2 years or so, slowly but surely, here and there, watching an episode or two, and it's been really neat to go watch the show. Let me turn the music back on. Helps my train of thought. It's been really neat to watch the show. A show that everyone else has already seen. Because I'm coming in as a newbie, right, to the Clone Wars, and people have already seen all this stuff, so it's fun for me to kind of experience it after everybody else has. It's a unique way to experience it for me. But that being said, it is going to be extremely exciting to watch the new season. It's going to be a weird feeling, to watch it side by side, the Clone Wars side by side with everybody who hasn't seen season 7 yet. It's definitely going to be a weird feeling. Just because I've spent, I started watching the Clone Wars well before we ever knew we were going to get another season. So I was just watching this, expecting it to, once I'm done with the Clone Wars season 6 and putting out my final videos, it'd be done. Never talking about the Clone Wars again unless it gets brought up in a live stream. So having season 7 going to be coming up, it's just going to be so much fun. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Matt. And Caleb Kemp, Stephen B., Star Wars Story, and Oscar. I appreciate that guy. Guys, Caleb Kemp says, so, The Rise of Skywalker, I'm shocked to say, but I think I loved it. The dark side is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural, and doing a 180 of The Rise of Skywalker must be one of them. Oh, you mean The Last Jedi, maybe? Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm glad you loved it. I'm very curious with future viewings how I will feel. I will say the more I think about it, the less I like it. But that's cool. I mean, that's fine. You know, I've made 2 Rise of Skywalker videos in the past month plus. So obviously I'm not going to hammer it in the ground that I didn't like it. I'm going to continue talking about it, of course. And if there's a video idea that pops up that I want to talk about, I'll do it. But I'm glad to hear that you loved it. I've heard from a lot of people, Caleb, that were a little wishy-washy on it, that after a few viewings or a second viewing that they enjoyed it a lot more. So I'm very curious how I'll feel with subsequent viewings. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me is just Palpatine. It's one of those like just completely unimaginative things that I don't. It's not like another viewing is going to take that just kind of like meh feeling away, you know? But maybe it'll subdue. Maybe that meh feeling will subdue. But yeah, Caleb, I'm glad to hear it. And Stephen B, not Star Wars related, but what song or soundtrack from Star Trek is your favorite? Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Next Generation main theme. So much so that today, whenever I feed my daughter lunch, I have Alexa in the kitchen, and I'll say like, Alexa, play Skidamarinky Dinky Dink, or Alexa, play Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, or Alexa, play La 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 Lemon by the Bare Naked Ladies. It's a kid song. It's a fun kid song. Go listen to it. So, and today I said, Alexa, play Star Trek The Next Generation theme song. And she played it. It wasn't the original. I don't think it's on Amazon, the original, but it was like a violin rendition. It was great. So, yeah. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. I love it. Yeah, so it's Steven, I love Enterprise's opening. Yeah, I just, for me, so I watch a lot of Next Generation episodes, a few a week. I'll say that, a few a week. And you know how Netflix wants you to skip the intro? It always asks you to skip the intro. Do you want to skip the intro? I do often, but not when it comes to The Next Generation. That the sense of just adventure that song hits with, it's fantastic. And man, I didn't really care for the Picard, the first episode of the Picard show. It was okay. It's whatever. Pretty generic to me. But one thing I was really looking forward to was a theme. And I wasn't really expecting something as adventurous and I don't know, fun as The Next Generation, but the Picard show didn't really, it had a theme and it was a lot more melodic and it was pretty. But maybe it sets the tone for his life now. But I was kind of expecting a little more, and maybe that's just my my Next Generation bias butting in there, but yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. Let's see. Nice, best of both worlds. Classic. That's probably one of the most well-known. For sure. What did I watch the other day? Star Trek. My most recent episode that I watched was The Next Generation. I think it was a season 5 episode. Let me see. The Outcast, was it? Let me see. No, cause and effect, first duty, cost of living. Picard was charms of a female empathetic metaphor. Oh, nope. It was the cost of living. Cost of living. Where Deanna Troy's mother is getting married to a guy she's never met, and I mean, every episode of Trek is unique and often good. It was a pretty soap opera-y episode. I liked it for the most part. There's so many fantastic episodes. Occasionally one's not going to hit you. And sometimes they're geared and tailored towards a different audience, than other ones. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, man. And Star Wars Story, thank you so much as well. Once again, some Star Wars soundtrack music is unreleased, but on YouTube. Star Wars soundtrack music is unreleased, but on YouTube. Let's see. Star Wars. Unreleased music. Unreleased music. John Williams, I'm so sorry. Oh, wow. I didn't know this existed. John Williams, Goodbye Old Friend, unreleased. John Williams, Moving Things Along, film version. Okay, so I guess that makes sense. Are these scenes that were cut and Williams made music for them? I honestly did not know this was a thing. I'll have to look into that. Oh, weird. That's going to be weird to listen to Star Wars tracks that I've never heard before. Including expanded and unreleased tracks. Let's see. The 1997 release includes the complete film score, including expanded and unreleased tracks. Huh. All right. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I had no idea that this kind of stuff was available. It's worth a listen for sure. But yeah. And Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much for the channel support once again. Not well known, but the magic tree from The Empire Strikes Back, where Luke walks into the dark cave, so subtle yet so blood-curdling, feels like a Silent Hill track. Let's see, is that what it's called? Magic tree song. I don't know what that song would be called. Let me turn off. It is called the Magic Tree. Okay. Oh yeah, well, Silent Hill is a good way to describe it. It kind of feels like or sounds like a what am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? Like, not Twilight Zone, maybe Twilight Zone. I guess it kind of feels like that. It's all atmosphere, right? That Magic Tree song is literally all atmosphere. Interesting. Then it gets loud. Riding the roller coaster of Luke's little emotions there. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not, as you said, it's not a very well known, or most people probably don't think of that when they think of Star Wars, but yeah, it feels like a Silent Hill track. I get it, especially the beginning with the kind of like strings and the yeah, definitely. But I appreciate that, Oscar. Jet Blast 190, Oscar and Amanda, thank you guys so much. After these three, I'm going to hop off here. I've had a lot of water and a lot of coffee, and you know what that means. Yeah, you know what that means. Jet Blast 190, thank you so much. Video idea, Star Wars social political themes. I could write a thesis about social Darwinism and Star Wars, idea that the strong have the right to rule the weak. Yeah, that would be a very, interesting topic of conversation for sure. I've done Star Wars political videos before in terms of the political overtones and undertones of a lot of the Star Wars movies, even the original trilogy with kind of, Nixon and Vietnam. And I've talked about the prequels with Bush, and there's literally a character named after Newt Gingrich, and kind of George Lucas's view on a lot of things. So I've talked about that kind of stuff, but discussing kind of a deeper meaning of the themes, not necessarily pulling from individuals or whatnot, but more, I guess, political theory in a way, would be really interesting. Obviously, I disagree with the idea that the strong have the right to rule the weak, but I'm sure you do too, but I completely understand and see your point. That would be a pretty interesting topic of conversation for a video. That's a script that I would want to like hash out and research big time. And you guys know how I love to, we don't serve droids. That's a good theme, or a good example. But yeah, I dig it, Jet Blast. I'm gonna actually, my notepad. Let's see. Shit, you should make that video, right? All right, I'm just writing down a little idea here. All right, cool. All right. We don't serve their kind here. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yep. You're droids. That's what he says. All right. And Oscar Rodriguez, what if Tarantino was to direct a Star Wars film? I think he's more of a Trek fan, because I know there was talks of him making a Star Trek fan. I would love that, or a Star Wars film, or Star Trek film rather. I would love that. A Star Wars film would be really interesting. It would be. I mean, Tarantino definitely has a style and a way of doing things, and a very, very unique vision. And I would love to see that. I don't think we will ever see that. I don't think they would ever do that. But in terms of a director to get, that would be kind of a fail-safe, and definitely bring people to the movie theater. I mean, can you think of a bigger pull than Tarantino and a bigger pull than Star Wars? Imagine those two mesh together. Imagine what would be produced. Imagine, holy shit, the box office numbers would be ridiculous, right? I would honestly love to see something like that. We will never get something like that, but that'd be pretty awesome. No question about it. But yeah, just for the sake of, dude, powerhouse Tarantino, powerhouse Star Wars, put them together, what do you get? Probably something pretty damn weird. I don't know. But I appreciate that, Oscar. And Amanda Rosenblatt, thank you so much for the channel support this evening as well. Oddly enough, Duel of the Fates, so damn good. Yeah, that's been brought up a lot this evening. Amanda, I remember the first time that I heard Duel of the Fates in the theater. Seeing Phantom Menace in 99, I was 13, and it felt so different than what came before. You know, there was voices in this piece of music. And it felt so, it was great. It's still fantastic. It's one of the best, just kind of like, just epic, tunes in the entire saga. It's memorable. Everybody remembers it. But yeah, I remember hearing that and being completely blown away. So much so, I owned the soundtrack. I bought the CD. I owned the soundtrack, and I actually used to record stop motion animation. You know this. I used to record stop motion animation with my family's camcorder, and I would take the VHS tapes, plug my camcorder into my stereo, and overlay Duel of the Fates on top of these little home movies that I made. So yeah, Duel of the Fates, huge impression on me, and obviously on a lot of other Star Wars fans too. So you mix Duel of the Fates up with everything that's going on screen, and it's just kind of a powerhouse, right? But yeah. And Bradfordly42, thank you so much for the channel support this evening as well, man. Anything involving Yoda. Yoda has been brought up a few times on this stream as well. Yoda's theme, when you think of the Force, you think of Yoda, you think of it's often very melodic and very kind of, I don't know, very, a lot of the themes and the music that gets played around Yoda, you could almost pull them out and put them inside of a traditional fantasy movie, you know, with elves and wizards and fairies, and it would just fit perfectly, right? So yeah, absolutely. Yoda's theme, or the music that plays around Yoda and Yoda himself, just kind of represent the Force, that kind of I don't know, subtle and slow-paced melody. It's just beautiful. But yeah, good to see you, Brad. I appreciate that, man. And Star Wars Story coming in with the final super chat and channel support of this stream. Star Wars Story says, HG 2009's one-man film Moon, starring Sam Rockwell. I will never be able to suggest a more you kind of film. YouTube, its soundtrack, it's more than enough. I actually saw that the day it opened, Star Wars Story. I was so excited for Moon, just as a fan of science fiction and just the overall concept. I remember hearing about the movie for the first time and anticipating its release. It's hard to believe that was 11 years ago. I still remember seeing it. I saw it with my buddy, two of my buddies, and I saw it with my girlfriend, now wife at that time. Yeah, I remember it. The soundtrack is great too. It's a very kind of like dun 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 dun. Yeah. I used to listen to the Moon soundtrack a lot, and I used to listen to the Sunshine soundtrack a lot. So yeah, Star Wars Story. I appreciate the recommendation. Trust me when I say I have seen Moon a lot. If you go back to a lot of my old videos, like some of my very first videos, and you'll see a Moon poster on my old office wall, like way back in the day from 2011. So yeah, but yeah. I appreciate that Star Wars Story. And if anybody hasn't seen Moon, it's worth a watch. Go check it out. All right, everybody. I'm going to hop off. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me this evening. That was 2.5 hours. A long one for this evening. I'm actually not going to be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a podcast tomorrow night. And I'll post that up when I go live. I actually don't know if it's going to be live or not. But and it's not going to be on here. I'll let everybody know when they can hear it. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. To everybody who supported the channel through super chats, I cannot tell you thanks enough. You guys are the reason the channel exists. The reason I am able to do this, and the reason I'm able to make some videos on a decently frequent basis, being a dad who works from home and does freelance on YouTube and watches a kid all day. So I always appreciate the support, and I appreciate the patience as well. So thank you so much to everybody once again who supported the channel this evening. I cannot tell you thanks enough. To everybody who tuned in, thank you as well. And until next time, I will see you guys when I see you. Have a fantastic morning, evening, afternoon, wherever the hell you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya!